So I spent about 7 years in the Marine Corps. Yes, I graduated with a PhD in Linguistics in 2017. Yeah. So my research area is child language, Navajo child language, and how children learn Navajo.
I'm inside Melvatha Chee's house, professor at University of New Mexico. Oh, Yate.
Oh, Yate. Hello, Yate.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Long time no see.
It's been a long, long time.
Yes, it has. Yes,
This is my husband, Joey.
Hi there, Joey. How are you? Nick. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Awesome. Well, nice to meet you, Joey. Yeah. So, all right, we'll just start off casually right now. So, you are a professor, and what department do you work in?
I'm in the Department of Linguistics over at UNM, University of New Mexico. Okay. And I'm an assistant professor. So I've been there maybe about 3 years, a little over 3 years. I think I'll be completing my 4th year here at the end of June. Yes, I graduated with a PhD in Linguistics in 2017.
Gotcha.
So, yep.
Well, congrats on that.
Thank you. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And the last time you and I were in contact was during my undergrad year, and that was over 10 years ago, I think.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think you were in one of my classes that I taught.
Yep. I was in 2 of them.
In 2 of them. Okay.
Yep, in 2 of your Dine Bizaad classes. So do you still teach the Dine Bizaad?
Yes. Well, not those same classes. So when I was hired at UNM, I was asked to also oversee the Navajo language program. Yeah. And so for those classes, for that program, I teach the classes, the upper level courses, like the 400, 300, 400 level courses. Yeah. I teach the Navajo verb system. There's a part 1 and a part 2, the Navajo linguistics course, and then the advanced Navajo course.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. But I would love to teach the Navajo. It's now called Navajo 1110, like the beginning, and maybe go through with a group of students, like for 4 semesters and maybe beyond. I think that'd be great. Yeah. But
just mold them as they go through to the upper levels and all that. Gotcha.
Yeah, but that puts me in a position of, okay, who's going to teach these classes? Like who's going to do this? So it's not easy to do something like that. Yeah.
So now let's go back to your origin story. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Lake Valley, New Mexico, like Lake Valley, New Mexico. It is about 30 minutes north of Crown Point, New Mexico, off of Highway 371, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway. You're familiar with that road?
That's,
I think, right?
Bizaad Highway, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's one.
It goes by Bizaad, right?
Yeah, and then it goes directly north into Farmington, where an API plant is located. Yeah.
So that's where I'm from. But I was raised in Round Rock, Arizona. My dad's side of the family's from Round Rock. So, I went to school like in Chinle Elementary School, Tsaili, Round Rock, and finally Rock Point. I'm Tsanaha Bithni. I'm born for Kintlachitni. My maternal grandfathers are Howantlane, and my paternal grandfathers are Ashihe. So Tsanaha Bithni Nishle, Ado Kintlachitni Bashashchin, Howantlan Dashache do Ashihe Dashanale.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought we'd be related. So far, everybody I interviewed, I'm related to them somehow.
Oh, yeah?
You're the first one I'm not related to.
So I finished elementary school, or middle school, I think it's called, 8th grade in Rock Point, Arizona. Or junior high. or junior high, yeah. Then I went to, at the time it was called Navajo Academy. I think it's called Navajo Prep now.
Oh,
so,
okay, Farmington.
Yeah, in Farmington. So that's where I went to high school. And then I graduated from there.
So you're an eagle.
Yes. I'm hoping the teams make it to state. I'm going to really try hard to go check it out. So, but no, that's where I went to high school, and I graduated from there a while ago.
Then where did you go after that? Was it just straight to UNM?
No, it's kind of a funny story. Go to college, and so right out of high school, I went to university at University of Arizona in Tucson.
Okay, U of A?
U of A, yeah. So at the time, I thought I wanted to study something engineer related, right? And so, but I also flunked out after my first year, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's a funny story because when I graduated with my PhD from UNM, I went to U of A for a job interview, for a professor job. And I told everyone there, oh yeah, I flunked out of this school. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you guys, invited me for, an interview. And I was like thinking, don't they look at transcripts? Anyways, so that's why I always laugh, right? I'm like, I thought that was funny. So I went there, but I didn't do well. And I got home, and Lake Valley is in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Just flat.
it's flat, and you need, in order for me to get a job, I needed a place that was looking for a person. Then I needed to find a vehicle, to get there, gas, or, car maintenance. But I didn't have any money for any of that, right? Yeah. So it's just it's not the best position to be in. So it just doesn't work in so many ways. And so I enlisted in the military. So I spent about 7 years in the Marine Corps. And I did my 7 years. I re-enlisted. I did 4 years, and then I re-enlisted. And then after 3 more years, I decided I was done with it and came home, right? Came home, and I went back to school. I started at San Juan College. Then I went to Fort Lewis College. Then I graduated from there in, I think it was 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, or 2001. I think it's 2000. And then I got my bachelor. I got my degree in international business, and so I couldn't find like an office administrative job anywhere. Like even at the time, like the $17,000 a year jobs, I couldn't get anything. Right? So, so one day I ran into someone I knew who said they were looking for a Navajo language teacher, and this person knew that I knew how to read and write Navajo, and speak Navajo as well. And so I was like, okay, and I needed a job, right? So I got hired as a teacher for Farmington schools. But while I was in school at Fort Lewis, I was a Navajo tutor at Navajo Prep School. Okay. And I worked with Lorraine Matnavy there. So a lot of my Navajo teacher training came directly from her.
And what was her position there?
She was a Navajo language teacher there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so then I got hired at Farmington schools, and I just started like teaching, So I taught there for a few years, and I taught at Gallup High School for a couple more years. And those Gallup High School students are pretty awesome. They ask good questions and stuff, and I just didn't have the knowledge to answer things about how the language work or Navajo structure. And that's when
Were they mostly Native kids, or was it?
They're all Navajo students. Okay. In the Navajo language classes. Yeah, they were all Navajo students. Yeah. So I decided to, maybe I should go back to school before I get too much debt. And because I knew I would have to pay my way through school. So I came to UNM, and I think I kind of got lucky. The day I stopped by the department, I think it was in the summer, and I ran into Professor Axelrod, Melissa Axelrod, and I chatted with her and I said, I'm looking for like a Navajo language program. Can I get another bachelor's degree in Navajo language and Dine Bizaad? Or how does that work? You know, or a master's degree, or like, what do you guys do here? Yeah. And I was in the linguistics department, right? Yeah. And she was like, oh no, there's no program where you can just, you know, like study Navajo, go take Navajo language classes and study Navajo and get a bachelor's degree in Navajo. But she said, since you already have a bachelor's degree, maybe you'll want to consider a master's degree. Yep. And if you study linguistics, then you can study Navajo. She goes, and I think that's the closest you can get. Oh, wow. Yeah, and I was like, okay. And so I was like, all right, well, let me try, you know. Yeah. So I applied and then I got accepted. Nice. Yeah. And so I talked to, you know, Dr. Axelrod, and I was like, I'm not sure what to do. And she's like, well, you can continue to go to school here. And I was like, will they let me? So she said, go ahead and apply, you know, submit your application, and then you'll hear from the department. So I just continued going to school, and it came to, I finished all my courses, and it came to doing research work and having to navigate that whole system there. Yeah. You know, which includes, you know, deciding on a topic, what do you want to study, how are you going to go about collecting your data? You know, you got to get permission. What community are you going to work with? Again, the permission process, right, which is very important for Navajo. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I'm coming up on my limit. You know, I might get kicked out, or, you know, I don't know what the process is, and I'm just so busy. I need to finish this up. And around the time I finished up, my professor was also retiring, getting ready to retire. So I decided to just, you know, get it done. And so she didn't have to worry about me, you know. Yeah. So I did that. So I finished. You know, it took me about 9 years, I think it was. Oh, wow. Yeah, lots of work.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. That's a lot of work.
You know, like going on to the reservation and kind of looking for children to work with. Yeah. So my research area is child language, Navajo child language, and how children learn Navajo. Yeah, yeah. At the time, I only focused on verbs, and now I kind of want to expand out into other parts of the language. At the time I was looking, when I did my research for my dissertation project, I did it on the eastern part of the Navajo Nation, and I was looking for child speakers. Yeah, yeah. So that's my area of interest, is how do Navajo children begin to learn Navajo, like what's going on with that. You know, how do they learn it at different ages? Yeah, yeah. You know, just like everything about child speech.
It's just
child language.
Child language, yeah. Child speech, and how it develops as they grow. Mm-hmm. Is that what I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yeah. And
so what is the biggest challenge when you were researching the development of kids with speech and learning the Dine Bizaad, and just growing up as little human beings? Like, what was your biggest challenge there?
Oh my God, my biggest challenge was just finding child speakers and people willing to participate. I think as Native people, we're kind of just shy. I mean, I'm shy right now, yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, my mom's side of the family, they're heavily involved in Native American church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to let the audience know that.
Yeah, my grandfather was a roadman.
And
my uncle is now a roadman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My grandfather was John Sandoval Sr. From Lake Valley, and I think counselor in the area. They know him, Eastern Agency.
Yeah, Eastern Agency, right before the checkerboard starts. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Gotcha. That's fascinating.
Yeah. My dad's side of the family, they're traditional. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, again, this is part where we let everybody know that your dad was in one of my short films.
Yeah, I saw that.
Melvatha Chee.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I remember when he was talking about that, he was going to do like a short film, and he said your name, and I was like, I think I know him. Or he told me, he goes, yeah, the guy said he knows you. And I go, I think he was my student in Navajo class at UNM.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that trailer was a hit. So what happened with that trailer is that I told your dad to only speak in Navajo. That's it. Every single dialogue I give you on the script, all in Navajo, no English. I said, this is the part where we control the audience. And then I did my presentation of who I am, present myself, all my clans, where I'm from, why I did this film, and my history with film, and where I'm from, which is Melvatha originally. Then I grew up in Farmington, and then I moved out to Albuquerque, became a filmmaker. And after that, I said, all right, well, I'm going to leave you with the trailer. There's no subtitles, so enjoy it.
I see in the Nasha as Kinslon, Ultra Oshit Elia.
And that was the one with your dad. I walked off stage, the trailer played.
If they were all sorts of different Native people came up after you and presented.
Yeah.
And if they understood it, they would all, I think, totally connect with what he says in it. Every single one of them can relate to.
That was, again, like after that, I feel like I couldn't really hit anything higher with an idea I wanted to do because of his acting. But he wasn't really acting, he was more authentic.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved the most. He wasn't over the top, nothing. He was a real medicine man in that whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and it was great. So, how's your dad doing?
Well, my dad actually passed away about 2 years ago now.
No, really? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I think it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really tough losing him.
Yeah. You know, he was an incredible man.
Yeah, he had a lot of knowledge, and I always consulted him with my ideas.
Yeah.
Bringing one of the things I like to do is look at linguistics through Dine thought, or the way we perceive the world as the Dine person, perhaps through the lens of like cultural ceremonial songs, or even prayers, protocols, that we do. I like to look at Navajo language through that lens, and I think that's very, very interesting, right? And so that was something I used to always talk to my dad about, like share my ideas. I think this is, I think these are related. I talk about these, just a whole bunch of things. Yeah. Or I know last night when we were sitting in a hojonja, this is what I kind of started thinking. And so we sit there, I draw stuff and just kind of chat about it.
Yeah.
Or he'll come over to my place and I'll ask him things, and then I'll ask him, like, does it make sense to you, or do I sound wacky? But it would always get us in some really good discussions. Because that's what he was very passionate about, Navajo philosophy, and working with different concepts for a lot of different things.
They circled the wagons here, but
No, something's still open on the side right there.
they might have just closed the front and opened the side.
Is busy with the offering, being distracted by it. You get blackened up.
Like
Well, probably this is my Navajo linguistics course, right?
yeah.
Yeah, where we do take a look at structure.
Yep.